name's Sammy. Welcome to my channel. If you have been following my Vlogmas series for this year, it's the first time I'm doing it. Super cool. Definitely not turning out the way I expected, but what actually does turn out the way anyone expects, you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of trying to roll with the punches. I'm having a lot of like kind of just talking head videos, I guess that's what you want to call it. I mean, it's not really like my usual content, but if you watched the last video, I mentioned that tradition is a really big thing for me. So this video is I'm going to talk about my childhood Christmas traditions, and I would really like to hear any of your stories about your childhood traditions. I know that people just do different things all over the world. Growing up, my family did basically the exact same thing every single year. I mean, if you're not aware, I grew up in a household with my brother, Dean, my mom, and my dad. Every single year, our Christmas traditions started off on Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve, the evening of Christmas Eve, we would go to my grandma's house, and there we would do our grand gift exchange, you know, where everyone bought stuff for everyone, and we would just hand off like huge bags and bags of gifts to all the different people, and we would bring home bags and bags of gifts, which I understand definitely is a different lifestyle than some other people. I mean, we weren't rich by any means, but we were doing okay. Middle class, I guess, is what you would say. And so we would go to my grandma's and we would have food there. We would listen to music, we would talk and catch up and see people, we would exchange gifts, and then we would head home. Once we got home, we had our annual Christmas movie. And I tell you, we still do these Christmas traditions to this day. So our Christmas movie wasn't always Christmas themed, but we'd usually watch two, and then we would go to bed. So it would be kind of a late night for us. Then we would go to bed. I remember me and my brother, we'd wake up really early and we'd go downstairs, and it was just such a sight to see all the Christmas presents underneath the tree. We'd get super excited. We'd go check them out and see whose name's on what, and it was just really cool. And then we would kind of fall asleep on the couch, or it would be close enough to the time that everyone got up, and then my mom would make us a omelet for breakfast, and when my dad got up, we would start doing our Christmas present thing. So every single year my dad would sit by the tree and he would be the one to hand out the presents. He would try to make it so that we each had one to open at the same time. My mom did really good at making sure that we had the exact same amount, and in between they would open their presents. It was really cool. We always got really excited, and we just put everything off into a pile. And again, to this day, we still do that, except I don't really celebrate Christmas morning at my parents' house anymore, but I still go there for the evening. After we open gifts in the morning, what we would do is we'd put all of the gifts that we got underneath the tree again, opened, and my family, usually my grandma, sometimes my grandpa, sometimes my uncle, and my cousins would come over for dinner. We would have turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and all these other things. And I remember my cousin Justin, he would always put ketchup on his mashed potatoes, which I always thought was the weirdest thing. So let me know in the comments below if you're one of them. You know what I mean? Do you put any weird food or any weird condiments or have weird combinations of food like that? It was always so fascinating to me, but I never had the guts to try it. So maybe it's delicious. I mean, potatoes and ketchup do go hand in hand, so I don't really understand why I thought that was so weird. Anyways, after that, you know, we would play with whatever toys or whatever gifts we got, bring them up to our room, and then the next day, Boxing Day, we would always go shopping. Usually we'd go to the local mall and some other stores that either me and my brother wanted to go, or wherever my mom wanted to go. My mom was the one that would take us out, and it was like super fun, and we'd always go get something. I remember one year I got the camera that I started vlogging with, and I mean, this was like many years before I actually started vlogging, but I had got that camera, and on Boxing Day I went out and bought a case for it as well as a memory card. So sometimes we would just get things that would kind of like add on to the gifts that we already had, or sometimes we would get something that we didn't quite get but we wanted, or whatever. It was always super fun. So those were my holiday traditions. As something we do have done every single year. I mean, some things have changed now because I'm older. I'm 31 years old, I think, maybe 32. Honestly, lose track all the time. We're just gonna say 31 for the hell of it, because why not? So I'm like 31 years old, and you know, I've lived with my fiance James for a while now, a long time actually. So we've actually been together 14 years if you didn't know. And so since living with him, I mean, we did live back at my parents' house for a little bit, about 5 years or so. We did live there. We have our own house now, and so our traditions are a little bit different now. Like, I still go to my grandma's house if I'm not working and I'm able to get there. It really does like hurt if I can't get there, if I can't go, but I always do my best to try. And so go to my grandma's house, and then we go back to my parents' house for the movie, and then we do our Christmas presents in the morning here, and then we go back to my parents' house for Christmas dinner. And then now, like, especially where I'm working at currently, definitely gonna be working Boxing Day, and that's a day that I actually want to be working because it's like lots of traffic. That means more money for me, essentially. So that kind of sums up my holiday traditions, and I am very traditionalist. I like to do the same things over and over again, and this like digs deep, like down into like very minuscule things like that. I mean, I get the exact same thing from like restaurants. Like when I know I like something from a restaurant, whether that's fast food or whatever, I get the exact same thing every single time. I get the same order at Tim Hortons every time. Sometimes I will deviate a little bit in the sense of like getting a food product, and when I do get a food product, it's like always the exact same food products, and I have the exact same substitutes for those items. So it bothers me deeply when I cannot satisfy that traditional need or what have you. Let me know in the comments below, like, what are your traditions, if you have any weird food things. And yeah, so that's gonna sum up this video. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. I'm really excited to be able to share a YouTube holiday with you. Vlogmas is actually does mean a lot to me, and I'm quite proud of myself that I made 3 videos in 3 days. I just gotta get that uploading. So that's pretty much it, and I will see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye.